Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Well, welcome along, and thanks a lot for taking us along for the ride. Jim Coyle with you as always. Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat. Justin and Jake all along for the ride. Well, keeping the music rolling and the stream flowing. Hope everything's going well for everybody. Look forward to having Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News on the program today. Plenty to talk about, recruiting, lots of recruiting information to talk about. Baseball's on the road. Let's get to the headlines.
All right, here are your daily Hoosier headlines on this 23rd day of April 2019, as Indiana baseball has made their way into the top 25 as they come in at number 23. More baseball news as Matt Gorski wins the Big Ten Player of the Week for the second time this season. And the Hoosiers are set to take on Ball State tonight at Victory Field. That game's set for a 7 p.m. opening pitch. And the Milwaukee Bucks take down the Detroit Pistons for their first playoff win, or series win, rather, since 2001. Those are a look at your daily Hoosier headlines on this 23rd day of April 2019. For more information, be sure to check out thedailyhoosier.com.
Hey, welcome back in. Indiana Sports Beat. Jim Coyle, thanks a lot for taking us along. Hit us up on the text line. Anything that you'd like to talk about. 812-269-6367. Let us know what your thoughts or comments are. We appreciate all of those. Make sure you like or follow us on Facebook. You can find the show, of course, anytime where you're listening right now. Or you can find us live at thedailyhoosier.com, indianasportsbeat.com, or thegruelingtruth.com as well. And of course, any place you find, you can find the rebroadcast, any place you find a podcast. We just put the radio show right there and run it right on out. But we appreciate you joining us along. Looking forward to talking to Mike DeCourcy later in the day from Sporting News. Of course, you see him during the year on Big Ten, on the Big Ten Network as well during the football and basketball season. But I love talking to Mike. Mike is one of the he's just one of those writers that doesn't seem like a writer, which I love, and I mean that in a positive way. But so looking forward to talking to Mike about that. And anything else you'd like to talk about, hit us up, like I said, on the text line, 812-269-6367. Let us know what your thoughts or comments are. A lot going on in recruiting. Baseball, Indiana heads up to Indianapolis, like Justin said. They'll be at Victory Field taking on the Ball State Cardinals today in preparation for a big series this weekend with Minnesota. So they've got a lot going on and keep going. And then as the weeks go on, next Tuesday, they have to travel to Lexington to take on Kentucky, which is a big game, regional game that will hold playoff implications. And then the following Tuesday, they've got a really big game as Louisville will come visit. So looking forward to all that that's coming up, but a lot going on as well. Last night, you heard Justin talk about the NBA still in action. The Detroit Pistons, they lose to the Milwaukee Bucks, 127-104, and it was the Utah Jazz getting a win over the Houston Rockets. So I think that may have been their first win in the series. Is that right?
Believe so, yeah.
So Eric Gordon and company go down, but I think they have a healthy lead. They may be up 3-1 right now. Not following the NBA greatly, but especially since the Pacers are done. But just what I thought there. But let us know what your thoughts are. If you got anything you'd like to talk about, let us know. But lots going on in the world of recruiting. There's no doubt about that. As one visit finishes up and another one is about to begin this weekend, as Lester Quinones will be coming in. He just came off of Anthony Harris. He is currently finishing up a visit in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. He's visiting the Tar Heels down in the Tar Heel State, and then he'll go back and make his decisions. Most think that that's going to come pretty quickly, and we'll see how Indiana fares in that. Justin always talks about that. I talk about having that last visit, and I don't know how much that really plays into it, but It just seems like it's always nice to have the last word with somebody, but in this case, I think that who knows? We'll see if it has an effect or not. But I think Indiana is in a good position to get Anthony Harris. Like I've said, I've already stated why. I think that they have a want and a need, whereas North Carolina just has a want. And I'm thinking their need may be greatly lessened with the addition of another recruit there very, very soon. So we'll see about that.
Yeah, and that's all we can do is wait at this point. But I tell you right now, I really want Anthony Harris. I think that helps a lot.
Well, yes. If you were as a fan, yeah, that would definitely be the want for certain. I think Indiana could certainly use him. If they get him, it'll be to their benefit. And they don't, they're just going to go forward. But I think they're in good position just because. But that's just that's just an educated guess. And it doesn't matter if they need him more desperately than anything in the world. It all comes down to what he wants to do, his wants, what he feels his wants and needs are, where he can better serve himself. If he's wanting to get to the next level, where does he think that that's going to be a better place for him? There's just all that goes into it. The only thing that would concern me, his initial choice was Virginia Tech, an East Coast location. Well, North Carolina is just a little bit down the road south of there, so it wouldn't be a great change for him. But coming to Indiana would mean going to the Midwest, a different environment, which maybe he's open to that. We'll certainly find out. I think that he's going to get a lot of playing time at Indiana, or a lot more playing time at Indiana, and he'll get it as a freshman. I think so, and he'll also be playing behind Rob Phinisee, who Rob's got a year under his belt, and that would only benefit him as well. So, but we'll find out. We'll see what Archie can get done with him. It would certainly benefit that team. They definitely could use his services, along with many others that they're trying to get done right now. So we'll see how they can manage that. Archie and crew, they're out on the road, man. They're out getting it done and recruiting right now. That's where everybody is, and hoping they can pull in. And they're looking at a lot of players that some of us haven't been paying attention to. We'll talk about all of that today, especially in the last segment of this hour and the first segment of the next hour. We'll really get into the recruiting aspect of it. And if there's a lot of times we get people to text us that with guys that we haven't talked about a lot, or maybe it's not being talked about a lot. And sometimes they're little hidden gems. Feel free to hit us up with those. What are your thoughts? Who are some people that you'd like to see recruit that they're not? There's always the discussion of the Indiana kids versus the non-Indiana kids. And every kid on that roster does not have to be from Indiana. And I don't think that you need to think that way. But I think that it is imperative that you have several, but it's because there are several that are just good players, really good players. And the reasoning to me is if you've got some of the best talent in the country in your backyard, you should be able to recruit in your backyard better than in somebody else's backyard. I should be more familiar with my backyard than yours. And Indiana has got to get back to the point to where that is the destination for these kids. I think that is happening. It's in the process. It's not there yet, but it is changing. I think as these classes continue and Archie gets more and more indoctrinated into the state of Indiana, I mean, he's 2 seasons now. But I think he's done a good job with the Indiana high school coaches, the Indiana high school programs, getting them involved, letting them know that they want them involved, inviting them down to camps. That goes a long way. That's also a way of finding hidden gems that you may not be as familiar with. You get a good chance to see them play and be around them for a little bit in a different scenario. But I definitely think that because there is so much talent right there in their backyard, that's where it has to start. And of course, he thinks that as well. I mean, that's obviously why he talked about closing the borders down, and he has definitely started working on that. The next couple of classes in Indiana, high school, especially that 2021, is going to be phenomenal. There is a lot of talent in that class, man. A lot of talent. But we'll be talking about all that and plenty more when we come back. We'll talk about a little bit about that yesterday with Nick Baumgart. We'll come back. Well, then the program today, dropping the Mike Dorsey from the Spring News. So we'll look for that as well. To Sports, come back more right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. And I'm covering the Hoosiers. You can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burger, and cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. Incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want to smile for those champion photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on this Monday. Hope your week's off to a good start. If not, hope we get headed in that direction. Hope you had a great holiday weekend, Easter. Joined now by our good friend Nick Baumgart. Nicky, did you get lots of Easter eggs over the weekend?
I won. 13th year in a row I've won. And
what did you win? The Easter egg hunt?
Just pride, Jim. We don't have a lot of money over here. And,
what did you win? The Easter egg hunt?
Yeah.
13
sure, man.
years
Like
in a
in
row?
our
Come on, what are you, Bill Self? What are you getting help from Christian Dawkins? What's going on, man? That's a long streak.
Well, I know somebody, inside job, similar to Bill Self, The only way you can build a dynasty. Ask Wooden.
Got a direct route to the Easter Bunny at Adidas.
Yeah, well, Grandma, she gets the plan ahead of time, where the eggs are going to be at. It's like,
inside information. You're like Will Wade at LSU, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like Self. It's the only way. Ask Wooden. The only way to build a dynasty.
I've been talking about a little bit. There's a ton of recruiting news going on right now. We just had the Jordan Brand Classic over the weekend. You got Cole Anthony about to make his decision. Trendon Watford about to make his decision. Lester Quinones coming on a visit soon, going to make his decision. Anthony Harris was here this weekend. A lot of guys that are about to do that, and a lot of these guys that are all still have LSU in the mix, and that I don't know if they're just being politically correct.
Checks haven't cleared. I got info. It's coming in my ear here. Checks haven't cleared yet. They just got reinstated, man. It takes time to get these offshore. Anyway.
I guess they're just being politically correct, but I don't see how there's any way in the world any parent would allow their kid to go to that school right now. I don't care he's been reinstated. He's a cheater. He's a known cheater. So I guess they're just being politically correct with all that and just not kicking him out. But
I wonder. I just, maybe Twitter got me like, maybe I don't know what reality is because I've looked at Twitter so long, but it just seems like people they don't care. Like there's so many people that think that this entitlement thing that that's the only way that you can spin it is take sympathy on me because, they got the wiretaps right there.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like, this is not an if here. We're not thinking about
how do they reinstate him? Like, how do you get
that?
Why
that's
does
anybody
follow the
rules?
rules?
I think because there is no proof. I don't care. He refused to even meet with LSU until he was forced to when he met with the NCAA. So that right there, that's enough to me. But I think it's embarrassing. I think they're embarrassing themselves if it's possible for anything in Louisiana to be embarrassed. But it sure seems like that is the case. But that's where we are in college basketball. It's so funny.
They're in everything. Yeah.
But we'll find out. I mean, I think that it's going to be interesting on what the NCAA is able to do after all is said and done when they're allowed to get the information from the FBI and this and that and the other thing. But because big news came out, Will Wade and Sean Miller are not going to be forced to testify because a judge ruled the relationship with the relationships involved were not relevant to whatever they were doing, which
you're in charge of the
I just shake my head. All I can do is shake my head when I say it, but they've got to get a handle on it. But does this go away at all? Does it even go away when the rule change comes into effect for one and dones? Because all these guys are not one and dones.
No, I mean, look back. I mean, it's for as long as we're looking for as long as college basketball is modern era. If you look back like the '60s, right, you wouldn't have a fixer, guy. I mean, there was no free agency, the contracts really back then. I think it just keeps going on and on forever. I mean, people are involved. Hate to say it, but humans are a little, got some flaws, and greed's one of them. I think it goes on forever. People always cheat. As long as coaching salaries are high, it doesn't really matter about the players. And the players are just pawns, really. I mean, that's kind of how I see it. I mean, as long as you're going to tempt some guy to coach basketball and pay him $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $6 million, I mean, there's going to be direction without a strong. I mean, they say it's sterile. I mean, look at Missouri. Missouri's only fault was they admitted they were honest and came out and said, yeah, we had this rogue tour. They got slapped.
Well,
yeah,
you can say the same thing about and you can say the same thing about Louisville. And it's funny thing is Rick Pitino. I remember Rick Pitino kept telling the school, "Don't do this. Do not do this self-admitting crap." He said, "Don't do it." And what did they do? They did it. They put themselves on probation. And what happened? They got kicked in the nuts. They're the only team in the history of the NCAA to have a national championship taken away. And they
look way worse. And yeah, right. In the revisionist history, they'll always go down as having that championship, wiped out, and it's because they were honest. And it's like, so anyway, I guess it makes for good drama, but where we are with it.
It certainly is. Indiana, Anthony Harris visited this weekend. I think we have different opinions here, and I love that. I think that Indiana's in good position because they need this guy, and I think the kids love being needed. North Carolina wants him. I think they're going to get a commitment from possibly Cole Anthony. I don't know if that's going to be a draw to play with or saying, man, he's going to be playing my spot, so I'm going to head off to Indiana because they need me more. I think Indiana's in a good position to get him. Maybe not, but we'll certainly find out. But I know you think otherwise.
Well, I lived through the Charlie Villanueva dang saga that was, right, Jim? I don't know if you remember the days, but it was coming off of that title game. Everything was great. Momentum built, and so these guys are coming to the East Coast. It's business, and one by one, it just could break my heart, So Villanueva went to UConn and Daniels to Duke, and we were left without anybody. I mean, I think we might have ended up with the Ben Allen that year or something. I don't know. I'm just a little snake bitten with these East Coast guys. I mean, the East Coast is just so different from, from Indiana. I don't know. It just, you're going up against 4 East Coast schools in Indiana. So, it's a big change. It's not much change between Maryland and Georgetown, outside the campus and same geographical area. Indiana's different. It's a lot further away from. So we'll see. I guess it just kind of has that feel of Villanueva dang to me, and whether it's fair or not, that's kind of these Midwest guys, Indiana guys. Don't get away from the playbook. The playbook's been good. It's I know Romeo wasn't, didn't work out as great as everyone told me, but Rob, Trace Jackson Davis, Keon Brooks was in the bag. I mean, that was done, but things happen.
Yeah, but what do you think? Getting back to how I was looking at it, from the fact that Indiana has a need for him, and North Carolina not so much. You don't think that sways in is going to play a part in his decision making?
Well, I think anytime you go on a visit like that, like you can imagine Roy, right? I mean, he's used car salesman number 1. He's going to make you feel wanted. They're maybe, but they can also say, if you want to win, this is the only place for you. Like, why would you go to Indiana? I mean, this is what they're saying. Why would you go to Indiana? They haven't missed the tournament in 4 years. They went 19-16. They watched us this year. Where they're no, that's just how it's going to be spun.
Right, but then
the other
side of that coin is the fact that you're going to be the difference maker. You're going to be part of turning that around. You're going to be a part of something special. That's what they're getting, the other side of that. And they've got Trace Jackson Davis coming in. They've got good pieces in place. They're just a couple pieces away from having what they need. And I think that's how you sell those top guys, saying you're one of those top pieces that we're missing.
I agree. I mean, I think that's how you sell it. I'm just saying that if you're the recruit, it just depends what you're looking for. I mean, if you're wanting to go in someplace where they're, they win and you're going to win and you're going to play alongside one of the top players in the country in the same backcourt. I mean, it's got to make your life easier.
We know all that. What do you think the odds are actually of Harris? You don't think Harris is coming to Indiana?
Yeah, I would say something like 30% or something. I mean, again, I don't know. This is just my why.
Yeah, I I mean, what are you basing that? I mean, I think that Indiana's in a better position because of what I said. I think because they need him, and that need it will sway him. Now, that's just an educated guess. That's nothing other than that. I'm just looking at it from that perspective. So that's why I think that Indiana may be in a better position than, say, North Carolina to land him. But you don't think he's going to come here, and I'm just wondering why that is.
Well, I just think, that right now the momentum is it's just not, it's not with Indiana. It was last year, it was kind of, had that feel to it. I mean, I just think, and again, I'm not judging on anything solid or anything like that. It's just kind of my gut feeling on these situations. It's just kind of, if he was so sold on Indiana, why did he commit to Virginia Tech in the first place? Like, yeah, I get things change and maybe he comes back around, and it just, to me, kind of feels, I don't know. We'll see. He put him in their top 5, and it's good that you feel that way.
Well, no, I'm just basing it on like what I said. I think because I think it comes down to the top. I think North Carolina and Indiana are the top 2 schools from what I've understood. That may not be the case either. We thought that was the case back with the kid that ended up going to Ohio State, the guard from Iowa. His name is escaping me right now, but everybody thought that was a lock. But
DJ Carton.
Yeah. Everyone thought that was going to be a Michigan Indiana thing, and then Ohio State comes in at the last second, whoop, and swoops him up. That can happen again here. I think this is an Indiana North Carolina thing right now, but somebody else sweep.
I'll give you something solid. I mean, I don't know if this sways the way, the pendulum either way, but style and tempo is going to play, have something to do with it. I mean, you're talking about North Carolina was the 6th fastest team in the country last year. They're 74, 75 possessions a game. You're talking about Indiana, who was 215th. You're looking at 66 possessions. So, you're looking at a difference in speed of the game, style. I think Indiana's going to get slower probably next year by adding Brunk. Brunk, Davis. I don't know. I mean, we'll see, but so maybe that plays into it.
But I think that's not what they want to play, though. That's not what they want to be. And again, I think that's a way to sell that player. Hey, we want to do this, and we need you to be able to do that. We need you to be able to help us make that difference. Because you didn't have the players.
Why? People say they don't have the play. Okay, so
who are you going to do it with?
We'll see.
Who are you going to do it with? Who do you have to do it with? Romeo standing in the corner? No. You got one point guard, and he's a freshman. He's other than high school, he had no collegiate experience. That's your point guard. That's basically your only point guard.
I mean, Archie's never. I mean, like I just looked at the numbers last night. And Archie's never been any faster than 174th in the country.
Relative talent to be better than that.
Maybe I don't know. I would argue you don't need talent to be able to run.
That's true. That's true.
Be in shape, and you need to be intelligent, and you need to be well disciplined, and you need to be, know your. But it's my thing. I guess is we'll see. I'll believe when I see it. I don't know what. I hear that he wants to play faster and all that, but it has to happen. And I'm just telling you, I've seen a lot of teams run without the. It was anyway.
Well, that's true. There's truth to what you say, and the numbers don't lie. I mean, the numbers are what they are, and wanting to do something and actually doing it are two different things. And if numbers over 9 years say one thing, that's kind of what it is. I agree with you on that.
I think I don't think people realize how dirty the recruiting world is, but I think there's, if you're North Carolina, you're saying, look what they did to Romeo. I don't know what this kid wants to do. If he wants to try to bolt, one and done style, or if he's more of. There's so many things about it I don't know.
Well, he's not a one and done, so I don't think that's an option. He's not. I don't think he's talented enough to be a one and done, so I don't think that's a worry.
So it just kind of depends. If you're going into a situation where you want to get out quick, North Carolina's kind of a factory. I mean, they could turn you over pretty quick. We'll see. There's I don't know. We'll see how many minutes there are.
Yeah, Lester Quinones, he comes on an official visit to Indiana next weekend, something they were not able to get done prior to. He's also a player that would be a very good get for Indiana. He goes to Michigan after Indiana's visit. So
The 29th, yeah. Quinones. I just thought they'd get him for that. Kid's got Quinones.
I never thought of that. Oh, man.
That could be Don Fisher's new call.
Oh my gosh, I didn't think of that. That's hilarious. But he's a heck of a shooter, man. And obviously this team could certainly use all the shooting power they can get.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked to Todd Leary Friday about this. You know, back in the late 80s and the 90s, even Bob Knight, his teams shot over 40% from behind the arc. His entire team, not a player, but the entire teams. Where Jay Edwards shot 58%, by the way, one year. But they need shooting. They need, and anybody that thinks otherwise is crazy, because I've seen some people say that they're fine with shooting. No, they're not. You've got to add talent and add shooting, and he would be a good get for them.
Yeah, I mean, like I took some heat on Twitter. I'm with you. You know, like basketball's not that hard. In theory, get a shot every time. Don't turn the ball over. Get a good shot, and make shots. So, to be able to make shots, though, you got to be able to take good shots. And so when I looked at the numbers that I'm going to have out later today, last night, Indiana spent like 1,000. It was like over 2,700 possessions, and there were like over 1,000 possessions that they spent on just junk situations, like handoffs. I'm just, shooting the ball when they're guarded, catch and shoot when they're guarded. They were just awful. Different things like that. Just, wasted possessions where if they're a little smarter and they take better shots, putting people into the right situations. And I think at the end of the year, that's kind of what we saw. We saw Devontae Green kind of find his mark with his shooting because, he was being put into situations to catch and shoot. And, I think he's like 17 for his last 35 from three. So, I think there's lots of room to improve, lots of places. And the pieces are there. And people said, I think it was Rob Deuster or whatever with NBC last year said, well, this IU team, they are what we thought they were. They're just not that good. It's not true. There's just a lot of places where they can get better, even though they're going to lose Romeo and Morgan. Just putting guys into positions to be successful. And a lot of that's found in the numbers. So, there's hope.
I don't think that – I know Joey Bunk's a big dude. He's 6'11", he's a banger. But I don't know that that's going to really slow him down that much. I think that he can continue. He can get up down the floor. As a matter of fact, he's obviously healthier than, say, Deron Davis, who's, battled injuries and have to get through all that. So I think they'll be fine as far as tempo of the game. If they can get Jerome Hunter back, that would be huge, because to me, that does a couple things. You have to rely a lot less on a very unproductive Justin Smith, who I've just not seen a lot of improvement. I mean, maybe defensively.
You're not driving his bus, are you?
I just, man, after watching the same thing offensively, I'm sure his defense has come around. He's very good defensively. He's a tremendous athlete, but it doesn't seem that those skills are all being pushed even close to their boundaries.
Perfect example, though. There you go, Justin Smith. As far as putting guys into positions to be successful, though, and that's kind of on Archie. The numbers on using ball screens is awful. If you can't get the ball to the guy that's rolling to the basket, there's just the scoring value is just terrible. But with Justin Smith, I don't understand why no one said to him, do not shoot the ball anymore, rip the rim down, okay? If you don't get 10 rebounds this game, you're not starting the next game. He should be just a monster around the goal. You know,
Yeah,
the
I
fact
agree.
that he still wants to go out and shoot is like,
I agree, and I hate to cut you off, brother, but we got to hit up against the break. But you're right, and we'll
All right,
talk
brother.
about that more again the next time. But I agree with you 100%. But thanks a lot for joining us, Nick Baumgart, on with us today. Thank you, sir. Hey, welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Thanks a lot for joining us. We've got a lot more coming up on the program. Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News joins us in the next hour. And we got a lot of recruiting news to talk about. We'll get to that. The staff is on the road. You've got a visit coming in this weekend with Lester Quinones. Finished up with Anthony Harris. He's in North Carolina right now. But we'll talk about all that and more as soon as we come back from the break. Indiana Sports Beat back with more from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Jim Coyle with you as always. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. We appreciate you taking the Indiana Sports Beat along for the ride. Coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Make sure you can catch us live at any time on thedailyhoosier.com, indianasportsbeat.com, or thegruelingtruth.com. Or wherever you're listening right now. After the show is over, we're on rebroadcast as a podcast. Any place you find those sort of things, whether it's Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, all that, Google Play, Google Podcast. There's just a myriad of them. You know more better than I do, but we're there, and also and continue to add radio stations as we go along as well. So hopefully we'll be coming to your area, coming to your city soon, hopefully. But if not, hit us up. Let us know where you are. If there's a spot that you'd like for us to try to get on, let us know about that. But a lot going on in the NBA draft. A lot of talk about that stuff. And, during the NCAA tournament, great time to showcase your skills. Carson Edwards did that. And he's one of the guys that's looked at that as a key riser, but not the only one. There's a lot of guys that have improved their status. Jackson Hayes from Texas moved from 6 to 4. It's not a big jump there, but Carson Edwards, I think he went from previously expected to be around 41 to 31. So he jumps 10 spots, and that may not sound like a lot, but what that translates into strictly dollars, bowling for dollars, baby. If you move up 10 spots in the draft, you moved up 10 paychecks, basically. Because just like everything else, the further down you go, the decimal points, it doesn't really move, but the numbers shrink a little bit. But a lot of guys, Carson Edwards, like I said, he previously was listed at number 41. Now they think he's going to be around 32. Chuma Okeke from Auburn, he was previously at 46. He's now expected to be in the top 30 as well. Cam Reddish, he's a big faller. Or not a big faller, but he was a long time during the season, top 3, maybe 4. Now they think he's going to drop down to 7, which again, that's not a big deal. Few dollars, going to lose a few dollars there, but nothing big. Obviously now it's going to be on a different team, a little bit better team probably, or maybe because he's still going to be in the lottery, so it doesn't matter. Nasir Little from North Carolina, previously number 10, he dropped a few spots. Romeo Langford is listed. They previously had him, and this must be from this previous listing, they previously had him at 17, now have him at 19. This is a CBS from NCAA basketball, CBS NBA mock draft. Says Langford is the archetypal NBA wing with his 6'6" frame and near 7-foot wingspan. But beyond the physical profile, he still faces questions about his game. His shooting form, the rear back firing that flies from above his head, almost certainly will need to be overhauled. So there's some definite criticism of his shot, and it doesn't have anything to do with that thumb. His off-ball game and how he functions as a true wing also shows he lacks the desirable instincts you expect from a blue chipper like him. Wow, this is the most
a lot of criticism.
Well, this is the most I've seen from a publication, and this is from CBS. And we're not done. Let's see. His off-ball game and how he functions as a true wing shows he lacks the desirable instinct you expect from a blue chipper like him. He rates out favorably as a pick-and-roll ball handler and as a finisher around the rim, though, and his touch is translatable. Langford just seems to be longer away than expected from being ready to make significant contributions as a scorer in the NBA, and if he does, it might be in a similarly inefficient manner like his lone season at Indiana. So no talk about the thumb affecting his shot there, and I think that's because most people don't see that as having an effect on his shot, and I'll tell you why. Because during the season, if you've got pain, you're getting cortisone shots, so you don't feel any pain. And I'm sure that's why that was brought up. But they really talking about his the actual makeup of his shot and his off ball game. And I think that's pretty much talking about him standing in a corner, watching the ball go around until he got back involved. So there's the CBS has him dropped down to 19 now, and just read to you why. What do you think about that? I know a lot of the listeners in Southern Indiana, they love him some Romeo, and I'm sure they're not going to like to hear that, but that's not my opinion. That's coming directly from CBS Sports. So,
in your opinion, is any of that incorrect?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, what's, and I don't know about the makeup of his shot. You know what?
He is number 3 in Indiana high school history, so he's doing something right.
Number 3 in scoring, you mean?
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. So does that mean that what's that kid, Luke Brown? So if he becomes number 3, does that make him an NBA first rounder?
Well, no, I'm just saying in terms of his shot. I mean, yeah.
No, that scoring and shooting are two different things. What if every basket you made was around the basket? And obviously a majority of his scoring probably came around the basket because they couldn't, and they definitely can't stop him at the high school level. He's difficult enough to stop at a higher level. So he was unstoppable almost at the high school level. And I'm not saying all of his points came that way. Of course not. But I mean, this is coming from the experts, and they get this from the people they talk to, the GMs, the scouts, the NBA people. This is where that information comes from. So that's actually the first time I've really heard anyone talk about the construction of his shot. I don't have a problem with his shot. I think that they may be talking about maybe his step back, his penchant for trying to take the step back instead of just being set and getting off a good shot. But that's, if they want to break his shot down, that's beyond my pay grade, man. I'm not here to, because you look back through the years. I got news for you. There are plenty of great shooters that did not have a perfect shot. Larry Bird, he kind of brought it back behind his head. Go back and watch his shot. He's kind of, from what I recall, he's kind of camped it back on his shoulder and let her go. But I think that worked out pretty well for Larry Legend.
A little bit.
So, yeah, I'm not going to crack on anybody's shot, Romeo's or anybody else's. Better than mine. But, no, I think it's the other things, though, that's what stand out. A lot of things that were said during the year, standing in the corner. Well, they're talking about it right here with his off-ball game and how he functions as a true wing. Shows he lacks the desirable instincts you expect from a blue chipper like him. So that's CBS's opinion on him. But they still have him as the 19th pick coming in the draft. So again, all that means is just a little less money. What are your thoughts? What do you think about that? Wow. I was a little surprised to see that, because we haven't seen that written. But the great thing about then and now is all he is to do now is to work on his game. And that's what I think people who say, well, he's not ready. Well, he's not ready. He's not as ready as they would want him to be, but they're probably, the NBA personnel, they think that they can get him ready faster than if he stayed in college. Because in college, he's probably just going to be working within the framework of the college offense, within the framework of that team, which is not the same. So, and
one other important point I was going to make is the fact that if you're in the NBA, you've got way more time to work. That is now your job. You do nothing but basketball. Whereas when he's at IU, he doesn't have that opportunity. You've got to go to class. You've got to practice with the team.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point I've talked about, of people saying he's not ready. And I'm like, not ready for what? What is he not ready for? Not ready to make more money than any of us are going to see in a lifetime? Not ready to not have to go to class? Not ready to just work on basketball? Not ready to have the best training and coaching around him? Is that what he's not ready for? Baloney.
It's either stay in school and not get paid doing what you love, or go to the NBA and do what you love and get paid.
That's my whole deal. Is if the NBA personnel thinks he's ready to come to them, then that's probably their decision, because they're the ones writing the paychecks. They're the ones evaluating the talent. Could he benefit from another year in college? Absolutely, in a couple different ways, to be honest with you. But those are not ways like just in personal growth. He's still a kid. So yeah, you benefit from personal growth of being around people, of living on your own. This is the first time he's been anywhere close to being on his own. He's a very guarded individual. So being at college kind of broke that mold a little bit. So another year of that before you go off, but he's most likely going to have family around him immediately, I would think, wherever he is and whatever he's doing. But but as far as basketball, does he benefit from another year in college? Well, maybe from the concept of playing within the framework of a team, maybe showing the very things that CBS just talked about, that he can get away with that stuff. But you don't not go. You're a first round pick. You got to go. So I have no problem with it. Hey, we got a lot more coming up on the program. Stay tuned. Mike DeCourcy's with us next. We got a lot more to talk about this, a lot more as well. So stay tuned. Indiana Sports Beat. Back with more right after this.
I just want to be left alone. Well, when this train ends,
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
This hour is brought to you by Sweetland Waste and Removal Service, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jet airliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin yang, come along.
Well, welcome along to Indiana Sports Beat. Jim Coyle with you as always. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. We appreciate you taking Indiana Sports Beat along for the ride. Coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Lots to get to today. Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News joins us. Talk about Romeo's NBA draft prospects. Who's up, who's down. Lots more to get to. We'll get to it right after the headlines.
All right, here are your Daily Hoosier headlines on this 23rd day of April 2019, as Indiana baseball has found their way back into the top 25 as they come in at number 23 despite a loss to Michigan State this weekend. Speaking of Indiana baseball, Matt Gorski wins Big Ten Player of the Week for the second time this season after hitting .529 last week with 2 homers, 10 RBIs, 6 runs, and 4 walks. Indiana baseball set to take on Ball State at Victory Field tonight up in Indy. That game's scheduled for a 7 p.m. first pitch. And in NBA news, the Milwaukee Bucks take down the Detroit Pistons for their first playoff series win since 2001. Those are a look at your Daily Hoosier headlines on this 23rd day of April 2019. For more information, be sure to check out thedailyhoosier.com.
Hey, welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Jim Coyle with you. Thanks a lot for taking us along. Coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Let us know what your thoughts or comments are. Any questions for Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News coming on today as well. Lots to talk about. Last hour we talked about Romeo's draft prospects, and CBS, not exactly a glowing review of last season, but talked about, they were just pretty much honest. They talked about the things that a lot of people have not talked about. Some things I haven't seen. They talked about his shot itself, and that's something that I had not seen prior. It's listed in CBS came out with a who's up, who's down in the NBA draft. Some guys have really elevated their game. Carson Edwards moved from a expected 40, 41, 42 spot to about 10 spots higher to the 30s. A couple other guys up, a couple guys down, a few spots here and there. They list Romeo as now going in the 19th spot, falling a couple from 17. They had him previously listed as, but some of the things that they talked about his overall game. And again, this is CBS Sports in their draft issue. Langford is the archetypal NBA wing with his 6'6" frame and near 7-foot wingspan. But beyond the physical profile, he still faces questions about his game. His shooting form, the rear back fling that flies from above his head, almost certainly will need to be overhauled. His off-ball game and how he functions as a true wing also shows he lacks the desirable instincts you expect from a blue chipper like him. He rates out favorably as a pick-and-roll ball handler and as a finisher around the rim, though, and his touch is translatable. Langford is just seems to be longer away than expected from being ready to make significant contributions as a scorer in the NBA, and if he does, it might be in a similarly inefficient manner like his lone season at Indiana. So some cutting words actually from CBS. First time I've heard his shot criticized. Not saying it hadn't happened. It's the first time I've really heard someone criticize his shot, the mechanics of it, not the effectiveness of it. But if that's why he didn't shoot the ball as well, I don't know. That's not something that I feel it's in my wheelhouse to criticize, and I'm not going to because I've seen too many guys shoot the ball differently, effectively. But they're the guys that they're getting this information from, the guys that matter, the guys that'll be writing the checks. The other things, not surprising. They basically talk about his off-ball game, and I think that directly is talking about the times he would stand in the corner and whatnot and not move around. But just a lot to learn. Now the question, if he truly is going to drop to the 19th pick, do you risk coming back? Of course, that's not going to happen. Let's first of all, he's in the draft. He ain't coming back. He gone. Bye-bye. But that all this before was him being the number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pick. Well, now that's dropped down to 19. That's outside of the lottery pick. That's no longer a lottery pick. So now the question does beg. And I look forward to talking to Todd O'Leary about this on Friday, because he's been unequivocal. No, you go. And I've been in complete agreement with that thus far. Now, when you drop outside of the lottery, does that change that thinking? Which again, he's not coming back. He's gone. But was that something that he should have really considered if that turns out to be the case? Of coming back, because now you are talking about a substantial amount of money, a difference between a top 10 pick and 10 spots lower, but you're still going to be a first round draft pick in the NBA. You're still going to make millions of dollars, which is more than me or anybody else I know is going to be making. So I'm in no way disparaging the decision.
Yeah. It was kind of a tough decision for Romeo. Now, I'm not saying that he paid attention to the mock drafts all year long, but when you're consistently seeing yourself as the number 5 pick or as the number 7 pick, or when you're in that top 10, it's an easy decision. And now if the mock drafts were like this all year long, where he's listed at 17, 18, 19, I think he probably makes a different decision.
I think it's a possibility, but I think at this point it's, we're all in kind of a deal, and maybe the camp would see it as a failure if they didn't go because of all the hype and all that stuff. I don't know. That's beyond my pay grade to make that assertion, and I'm not going to. But he's going to be a wealthy young man regardless. So wish him well, and I hope it all turns out well. Of course, I hope it works out well. Kyle Guy keeping his name in the draft. He could have come back to defending national champion Virginia, but he's gone. Carson Edwards, the same deal. Now, he moved up 10 spots, but even with that, he's still a top 30 pick. But I think Carson Edwards is making the definite right decision, because he's coming off of an absolute incredible run in the NCAA tournament where he broke a long-standing Steph Curry record. I mean, man, you got to make hay when the sun's shining, and the sun's definitely shining on his game right now. And he took that big stage and used it for everything he could use it for. When you score 42 points twice in the NCAA tournament, booyah! You're getting it done, man. You're getting it done.
Oh, and like you said, broke Steph Curry's record. If you can break a Steph Curry record, you're doing something right, because that tournament he had back in 2007, 2008, that was just incredible. And Carson Edwards put together a similar type tournament this year.
Absolutely. We talked about, I think you mentioned in the opening headlines, Matt Gorski, Indiana baseball player of the week again. This is not the first time, of course. He helped the Hoosiers to a 3-1 record last week, posting victories against Ball State, who they take on today at Victory Field in Indianapolis. Also a series win against Michigan State. He hit .529 on the week, 9 hits, 10 RBIs, 4 walks, and a stolen base, including a grand slam home run against Ball State that has probably still not landed. I've never seen a ball hit. Not here for sure, but that's still one of the, if not the biggest home run I personally have ever seen. It cleared the scoreboard in the 330-foot fence in left field. that scoreboard probably goes up another 40 feet like a mini green monster. Cleared that thing, and it could have possibly rolled onto the highway behind it. Because when I was driving, I remember leaving that night and driving back, and I was looking back at that scoreboard and just saying, all right, what's even at the best angle? If it cleared that thing, unless it dropped straight down, it was coming down at an angle which probably about 10 feet from the roadway, which means if it hit and bounced the road just a little bit, it's in the road. He literally could have put one on the road, but he just drilled that thing.
And if you're not familiar with the setup of Bart Kaufman Field and where it's located, that's an absolute bomb.
It was just, I just remember seeing that ball going towards the scoreboard. I'm like, oh, that thing's going to hit the scoreboard. Nope. It just kept flying. Boom, off it went. So great job for those guys. Again, they're on the road in Indianapolis tonight. Not really on the road. It's a neutral game at Victory Field against Ball State before having a series this weekend with Minnesota, a big series. That'll be very important with them. The Big Ten, they're going to be having a new commissioner, with longtime Big Ten Commissioner Jim Delaney set to step down in June 2020 after 30 years at the helm. The search for his successor has begun. Michael Smith of the Sports Business Journal says the conference and search firm Korn Ferry have compiled an initial list of 9 candidates who might be a fit for the job. And perhaps unsurprisingly, considering how much of a role television rights and league networks play for NCAA conferences these days, several of the candidates involved have significant media backgrounds. And some of the top 3 are deep into the media. John Littner is the president of the Yes Network. He's been with them since September 16, previously president of the NBC Sports Group, responsible for 8 NBC's regional sports networks and the Golf Channel. You've got Burke Magnus. He's the executive vice president of programming and scheduling at ESPN. He's been at ESPN for the last 24 years, currently oversees their negotiations with leagues. So obviously that is very important to the Big Ten, and it is because the teams from the Big Ten, they make more money than any conference in the country. And these teams, they love the millions of dollars these TV rights bring in. The Big Ten Network, you've got the agreement with Fox, of course, which I think owns the Big Ten Network, games on CBS, games on ESPN. Yeah, the Big Ten has done a masterful job of that. He's senior vice president of college sports programming since March of 2008, Burke Magnus. And so there's a big resume. Tony Petitti, he is a deputy commissioner and business media Major League Baseball. He's held that role since December of 2017, previously serving as Major League Baseball's chief operating officer. How about that? That's just a couple of the guys. So they are definitely looking in that negotiating type of the stance, and that's why they make the money that they make. But we got a lot more to talk about in the next segment. Looking forward to talking about that as well. And Mike DeCourcy joins us today as well. Get your questions in. Hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Of course, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. We'll be back with more here on Indiana Sports Beat right after this.
I'm gonna need someone to help me. I'm gonna need somebody's hand. I'm gonna need someone to hold me down.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, Indiana Sports Beat. Here with you, Jim Coyle along for the ride. Thanks a lot, Jake and Justin, the boys, keeping the music rolling and the streams flowing. Hope your day's off to a good start. Mike joins us in the next segment from the Sporting News and from the Big Ten Network. Look forward to talking to him. Lots of recruiting action going on right now. Indiana's staff, like everyone else's staff, is out on the road trying to get some things done. Per Pigs.com, the Indiana basketball coaching staff was actually up in New York, of all places, amongst others, yesterday. A lot of names out there that some people, if you're not following the recruiting boards and listening to people, you may not know about, but they were at Archbishop Stepniak in New York. It's a program that has produced a number of players over the years. The main player Indiana watched up there was in the 2020 class, a 4-star point guard, R.J. Davis. Bruiser Flint has been involved in his recruitment. He's the main connection there. He's ranked number 109 nationally in that 2020 class by 247 Sports. You can check him out at 247 as well. There's some other guys that they've been looking at, and there's a lot going on in that world of recruiting. So they're trying to shake the bushes and see what falls out, because there's going to be a lot of new faces in an Indiana uniform next year. Obviously, 2 of the big names that they are recruiting, Anthony Harris and Lester Quinones. Lester Quinones is coming for a visit this weekend, and This past weekend, Anthony Harris was on campus. He is currently in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where he will finish up that visit today and then go back home and sit down with his family and make a decision on where his next step is going to be. I keep saying that I think Indiana's in a good position because they need him as well as want him, whereas North Carolina is more of a want situation. But his original commitment was to Virginia Tech there on the East Coast, and North Carolina is just about 2 hours south of there, as opposed to being into the Midwest in Indiana. See if they have any bearing on his decision. Of course, we'll find out soon. I think that decision comes sooner rather than later for him. So
does Virginia Tech, you think, get back into the picture? I mean, that's where he originally committed. They're still in his top 5. You think there's a chance they're able to talk him back to getting back on campus?
Well, that depends completely on why he originally chose them. Did he choose that for Buzz Williams? Yeah. Did he choose it for proximity? Did he choose it because he liked the game, the style that Buzz Williams played, or is it proximity? The new coaching staff, I have no idea about. I have no idea what their style is like, so I can't speak to that. But of course, you have to say yes, because he was obviously committed to not only the coaching staff but somewhat to the school. I mean, maybe it was more of the proximity. I don't know, because you look at a situation like Tom Crean landing the recruits he's gotten. I promise you, the kid's from Atlanta. If he wasn't from Atlanta, Tom Crean is not getting that guy.
Yeah.
What was that? I'm trying to think his name. I'm drawing a blank right now. The top recruiting class. It wasn't Cole Anthony, right?
Cole Anthony, I think, is the number 1 kid in the class, but no, it's not. It was the number 2 kid.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either.
The point is, he's not getting him. He's not from there. There's no way. Georgia is so far away yet from being something, even if they get there, and that kid's not going to be there. He's going to be gone. He seems to be a one and doneer. Even if he's not, 2 years, then I don't see them in 2 years. They're more than 2 years away. But I promise you, the people down there in Georgia are happy as a pig in slop. Man, they sold a bunch of season tickets. The crowds were phenomenal. They were just happy as a lark. I mean, he certainly has done a role of carnival barker down there and gotten the enthusiasm. He's got them whipped up, man. They're whipped up and they're ready to play some ball.
The situation is very reminiscent of the whole Cody Zeller thing. I think you can make the same argument for that recruit, that if he's not from Indiana, I can't see where Tom Crean lands him.
He doesn't. The thing that Tom Crean did, and you talk about hit and miss. That dude was on both ends of the spectrum. He either hit a home run with finding these raw recruit talents that no one else was recruiting big time. And Oladipo comes to mind, OG Anunoby, not Thomas Bryant, who we should talk about, but OG, he wasn't even listed on the board, the packet that they give these coaches, or the coaches have to buy when they go to these summer AAU things. These players are all in packets listed out. He wasn't even in it. OG Anunoby was not even in that packet. He had to ask, who is this kid? So, but then you got the Tim Prillers, the Grant Kellens, the Aples, they were just absolute busts. He could sure hit a home run in that regard, and with finding that talent, and I agree with you. I think he got Cody Zeller because Cody was from here, and he wanted to be a part of what he did, and he actually was. I mean, he will be forever known as really doing exactly what him and Victor did, and really giving a shot of adrenaline into the Indiana program. But it's a talent in Indiana, but it's not the only place that they are. So they've got to go out and find the guys. The deal is just to have the best talent on the floor you can have, period. It doesn't matter where they come from.
You bring up Thomas Bryant. Curious if you saw, he posted a video yesterday of the Lakers tweet that said, "We have waived Thomas Bryant to the Washington Wizards." And so he puts up all these responses that everybody was saying, who in the hell's Thomas Bryant? And then he follows that. He follows that with just a highlight package of all his good dunks, blocks throughout the year. I thought it was pretty neat.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I'm happy to hear it because he's flourishing, man. He's doing exactly what you should. His first year, did you hear everybody talking about he wasn't ready? He's not ready? No, because I think everyone pretty much knew it's the prospect of what he could be, and he is becoming that. You know, he's spent his first year bouncing back and forth, but in the NBA and the G League. But where is he now? He ain't in the G League anymore.
He's
Starter.
He's got like 10 double-doubles this year or something crazy like that. Like, he's been very, very efficient, too. He's on like the top 10 list of most efficient offensive players in the league this year. Like, he's been very, very good.
He had that one game where he was, 14 of 14 or from the field, or 11-11 from the field, and 3 of 3 from the free throw line. I mean, it was the most shots ever taken in an NBA game, going perfect. So, tells you what kind of work he's put in since he got in the league.
Yeah, and he's flourishing, like I said, and he has developed. You know, he spent the first year bouncing back and forth. He got traded, but he got traded to a place where he could flourish and his game could flourish. And look at him go. Look at him go. Congratulations, Tom and Brian, on a great season, and I hope it continues for you.
And that just shows you that no matter where you're drafted, if it's the right situation, you can flourish and you can be a really good NBA player within that system, much like Romeo. I mean, in 19 is probably not where he wanted to get drafted, but if he gets to the right team, I don't think he'll care.
Yeah, well, yes, and obviously they're going to they see him as potential, and whoever drafts him is drafting him on potential, and they will work to develop him as best they can. That's what they want. They're not going to be paying him millions of dollars for, to not do that, to not try to make him the best that they can make him. Anthony Edwards was that recruit earlier I was talking about that goes to Georgia. So no, now that's great. Now I'm never going to be able to find how to end this stupid video that popped up. Gosh, dang it, it must be you.
I think it's almost better to get drafted in that 17, 19 range, because at that point you're going to be on a playoff team. You're going to go to a team that knows how to win and knows how to develop players, and I think in the long run it'll be more beneficial to him if he gets into a situation like that rather than going to someplace like Phoenix where guys just go. There's a huge turnover rate between players every year.
Yeah, and the big thing about the NBA is that first contract, it's nice, but that second contract, that's where you get the bump. If you can take those 4 years and you develop your game and make yourself a commodity, that is where you make the money on the salary. But Romeo's a kid that he could do well with outside income, but he's going to have to develop a personality and a persona. I'm not saying he doesn't have a personality outside of basketball, but from what you see, he's very reserved, I guess you would say. And if you want to be successful in the outside avenue, because let me tell you, if you think Michael Jordan made his money playing basketball, well, he made a ton, but it's dwarfed by the money he has made in outside endorsements. Yeah. And that is the case for a lot of guys. And Romeo's suited for that. I mean, he's got a great name. He's a good-looking kid. He's got a great following. I think he can be in a great position to benefit from that, but he's going to have to develop that personality a little bit. I think.
You'll have to get a New Balance deal like Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, exactly.
Those understated shoe companies and just not be the face, but don't be the face.
Joker hit us up on the text line, said shot form means nothing if you put it through the iron. Touche, amen, man. How many different forms are there? Pitching, baseball, overhand, sidearm, or effective? That's right. You strike them out. They don't care if you throw it out of your butt. I mean, just get the job done. And that's the same with basketballs. Thanks, Joker, for hitting us up on the text line. Also, man, I don't have this name in here, so I don't have a name. I'll have to go back and look. But any feedback from the Harris visit? Not yet. I haven't heard anything. I haven't. It was a short day yesterday, coming off the Easter holiday, and I haven't got to talk to everybody that I normally talk with. But I haven't heard anything. And also the fact that here's what you're going to hear. It was as expected. You're not going to really hear anything, to be honest with you, unless someone is from the family or the inside source from the team and whatnot. They're going to say nothing but glowing things, really. And it's usually all you hear the same things. It went well as it could be expected, yada, yada, yada. Because, Indiana's putting on their best face because they really want this kid and they need this kid. And we'll see. I think it's a good position for him, and I think that he might see that. It's just all a part of, does he want to go outside of his comfort zone? Because that East Coast really, to me, seems to be his comfort zone. And North Carolina would have a slight advantage there because they're just 2 hours south as opposed to coming over to the Midwest. But I also don't think he's going to have the opportunities at North Carolina, that he will have the instant opportunities that he'll have at Indiana. He'll have an opportunity to play right away in Indiana, a bigger opportunity, I think. Rob Phinisee needs a backup, man. He's the only point guard on that team.
Armand.
Isn't Armand really a combo guard?
He played point guard in high school. But I do see where you could get that he could play a combo guard. And
Anthony Harris is more of a combo guard, to be honest with. But I think he's really looked at as someone that could run that point. So he said, and text in from the same texter. Man, I got to look back. I hope there's a name here. If not, send us your name. But it says, oh my OMG, Kentucky fans fuming because U of L recruiting class ranks 4th to KU's 5th, according to ESPN. I guess that means UK. And maybe Harris lived his IU visit and will go on to North Carolina, decides he likes IU better, and announce by this Friday. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, his visit to North Carolina isn't until this weekend, right?
No. He's there today.
Oh, he's there now? Okay.
As a matter of fact, he should be finishing up today.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. I would not at all be shocked to see him back by then, or see him make a decision by then, just to get done with it, because there's no sense in his visits will be done. And if you don't know by the end of the week, after you've done it all, how much more time would you need? So wouldn't be shocked at all. So we'll find out. But we got a lot more coming up here on the program. Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News joins us next. We'll talk about all that. We'll talk about the CBS stuff with Romeo as well. So stay tuned. Indiana Sports Beat back from the Golf Club and Eagle Point Studios right after this.
Well, I heard you crying loud.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has tall pizzas, bold burgers, cold beer from a select list of local brewers, an incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50s, Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
This is Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat.
And I'm Justin Kalen with Indiana Sports Beat.
Justin, what's your favorite show?
It's got to be Indiana Sports Beat, but I'm not ever sure where to find it.
Well, you can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day, or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville. For the best recycling and waste removal service, turn to the area's leader, Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling, a homegrown company serving southern Indiana since 1995. Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling serves Floyd, Clark, Harrison, and Washington counties. For excellent service and peace of mind, call Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling today at 812-944-5642. That's 812-944-5642. Keep life sweet with Sweetland Waste Removal and Recycling.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become one in a million.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat, coming to you, of course, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Joined now by the great Michael DeCourcy from the Sporting News, college hoops writer for the Sporting News, also studio analyst for the Big Ten Network, covers the NFL and soccer for the Sporting News as well. You can find him at TSN Mike on Twitter. If you want to keep up with everything, that's where you need to be, because Mike is always on it. Mike, how are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you this morning?
Doing good. Appreciate it. Just getting the post-basketball season blues, still getting through that. Man, this tournament to me was the greatest tournament in history, the tournament that I got to enjoy this year.
Well, I'm not sure I'd go quite that far, but it was certainly great. It was entertaining and very competitive. And, you know, I will say this, that in terms of my in-person experience covering games, it was like all great games followed me wherever I went. It was astonishing. I happened to go to Columbia, South Carolina for the second round. First round I was in the Sporting News headquarters, but I went to the second round, so I saw Duke play UCF, and then I went to Louisville and I saw the Purdue-Tennessee game and the Purdue-Virginia game, and then I went to the Final Four, and I got to see those games, including the tremendous championship game.
Boring run you had. What a boring run.
It was unbelievable. I mean, the stuff that was happening in Louisville was just ridiculous. The Purdue-Tennessee game and the Purdue-Virginia game were just, I mean, they were breathtaking games. I mean, almost like, you know, that Marvel movie. I'm not a big superhero movie person, but that opens, I think, tomorrow night, and it felt like that, you know, it felt like, you know, that there was actual superhero stuff going on with Carson Edwards and the rest, the Kyle guy, and some of the stuff that was going on seemed cartoonish almost because the plays were so extraordinary.
It was. I mean, those games were incredible. I'm just as a fan watching those games, the excitement, the level of competitiveness that no team would back down. Even play like Auburn, who had guards that were one of them were ranked in 300 and something ranking, and just doing great things against great teams. It was an amazing tournament and such fun for everybody, I think.
Yeah, I think you have a hard time complaining about that, and which is why it's kind of disappointing for me to see that the game is going in the right direction, and Mark Emmert and Adam Silver sort of not standing up to Mark Emmert. The game is going in the exact right direction, and now they're going to try to change the way it goes in the next few years. They're going to eliminate the age limit and those sorts of things. And it's the wrong move for basketball. Unfortunately, we have people in charge of the games that aren't really studying what's going on and aren't really paying attention to what's going on and how both games have grown over the course of the last 10, 12 years, how they've really improved. And I fear for the future of basketball in America subsequent to the removal of the age limit. I don't think that we were going in the right direction between 95 and 2006. I have all kinds of data to demonstrate it to you. And now I see that, we're going back in that direction just because of the stubbornness of two leaders. One who has no idea what he's talking about in Mark Emmert. I mean, in regards to basketball, has zero idea. And then Adam Silver, who a lot of people praise and laud as a great commissioner because he gets social media, but his first job is to get the game, and I don't think at this point he is.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to hear some of the things because I agree with him because Mark Emmert, I just see him as one of those old men on the Muppets. They just seem lost and always reacting instead of being proactive. It's always a reaction thing. And I think a lot of people are going to be surprised to hear that take on the age limit because I think a lot of people see the need to eliminate that for some reason. But yet, if you look, those one and dones have not really impacted the NCAA tournament. You look at the Cedars Final Four; they weren't there. It was teams. It was the teams that played great basketball. But it's great to hear you say that. Expand a little bit on that. Why is it that you think that eliminating that age is going to affect the game or take it in the wrong direction?
Well, I think you go back to when we did have the guys going directly out of high school, how many players failed. A large percentage of, and because we're not talking about guys, the guys who failed, we're not talking about guys who were people say, well, college kids fail too. Yeah, but, like you said, Bryce Brown comes from the 300th position in high school rankings. If he doesn't make it as an NBA player, he wasn't supposed to make it. The fact that he's coming as close as he is now is a miracle. But the number 3 guy is supposed to make it. And if he doesn't, that's bad for the game. And if he doesn't make it because they don't have the apparatus to train him, which they don't, at least not at the level that's as effective as the college game is, then that's a problem. Baseball kind of throws it against the wall. They take 100 guys, throw it against the wall, 10 guys stick, they're happy. And but basketball can't do it like that. If you do that, you're diminishing the game because you throw 100 guys against the wall, and it's not the same 100. The difference is in basketball, it's pretty clear who the best guys are when they're 16, 17. It's pretty clear. It's not universal. Sometimes there's a Tim Duncan or whatever, but it's pretty clear. And if those guys who are clearly the best at 16 or 17 don't make it, you've diminished the game. And that's what was happening during the time between 1995 and 2006 when there was no age limit. Too many of those guys were failing. Eddie Curry, Kwame Brown, guys like that. Those guys had real futures in the game, and they failed because they weren't properly trained, and they weren't ready to handle what it was like to be in the NBA. College gets them ready for that. Zion Williamson benefited greatly from his college experience. Anthony Davis benefited greatly. John Wall benefited greatly. Even Romeo Langford, who did not have a great year, if you would have thrown him into the NBA this year, could you imagine what that year would have been like? He had no business. being anywhere near an NBA court. And that's the problem that people don't want to acknowledge with the elimination of the age limit. They think it's hurt college basketball because guys go through quickly. But here's what people don't think. When the age limit goes away, there's still going to be guys that go to college for a year. It's still going to happen. It will probably happen with the same degree of regularity that it happens now. So I don't see why anybody thinks eliminating the age limit is a solution for basketball.
Yeah, because if you look at the numbers, how many are there of true one-and-dones that are only in college because of the age limit? A lot of them need that year. Romeo's a great example. And actually, his status dropped quite a bit. Last I checked here, we talked about this a lot today on CBS. Actually, the most poignant criticism of him is that I've seen. It talked about his shooting form needing to be revamped and that his off-ball game needs to be adjusted. So it really, and now they've dropped him down to 19. But without that year in college, it would have swallowed him up.
Yeah, I see a player who doesn't go left at all, even to make a one dribble move. He never uses his left hand. He needs a tremendous amount of work on that. And look, if he can go and get picked 20th, that's fine. Go and do it. But the reality is he probably needed another year of college even to develop. He did not show in his 1 year the level of game necessary to make it at the NBA. And so we'll see how it goes. But he's a wonderful young man, and I hope he makes it. I hope he's very successful. But he's got a lot of holes in his game that need to be addressed, and sometimes it takes more than a year to address them all. We'll see if he's able to pull it off, but yeah, I think people look at the age limit rule as having created something it didn't create. Did it create the arrival of more players like John Wall and Zion Williamson into college basketball? Yes. Did it create the let's call it a revolving door? No, that didn't create it at all. It had nothing to do with it. That's the nature of the game changing. That's people saying, to these young players, college basketball, you don't need it that much. You should get to the league. What really created all of that, it was a slow foundation, but what really created all that was the salary cap. Because in 1993, 94, if you hung around to become the number one pick like Glenn Robinson did, you could ask for 60, 70, and Glenn asked for 100. He didn't get it. You could ask for a whole lot of money. Now they tell you exactly what you make, no matter where you're picked. And the difference between number 1 and number 15 used to be, it used to be tens of millions of dollars. Now it's, maybe 5 or 10. I mean, it used to be 40, 50, 60. Maybe you didn't even, if you were drafted 15th, you maybe didn't even get a guaranteed contract in 1993, 94. You had to fight for that. You had to convince your team you were worthy of that. Now it's automatic. You get 2 years. So guys think, I'll just get there. I'll see how it goes, and I'll make it. I'll be fine. But at least I have those 2 years. And before, you didn't have that. And that's really what's created what people think one and done is responsible for. It didn't create. The rookie salary cap did all that damage.
Talking to the great Mike DeCourcy from the Sport News. Find him at TSN Mike. Mike, what you talk about the changing the game, and the game's in a great place at the moment as far as a spectator standpoint. But is it in danger with the things you just spoke about, and you got the things like the FBI investigation because it's run amok? It's Mark Emmert and what I call a Muppet Mark, they have no grasp. It's like they're a mall cop, and they're standing there looking around at all this stuff going on with no idea what to do about it or how to do it. Is the game in danger of being as good as it is right now, of falling off of a cliff sometime quickly down the road?
Oh, I wouldn't say falling off a cliff, but I'd say it's in danger of potential decline, sure. I mean, the NBA has been on an ascent. A rapid ascent over that one and done period. I mean, in 2006, my apology, 2006, before the age limit went into place, the Knicks were worth $590 million. That's what you could get for them if you want. If the Dolans, if the Madison Square Garden Group had wanted to sell the Knicks, they could have gotten somebody to pay $593 million or so. If they want to sell them now, they can get something on the order of $3.5 billion. That's how much the NBA has grown during the time of the one and done. And so people think it's been bad for the game. There's your numbers. In that period, in 2006, there were about 9.5 million people watching the NBA Finals. 2 years ago, it was 20 million. They've more than doubled the audience for their showcase event. And so the game has been going in the right direction. That's why I argue against all these different things that college basketball and the NBA are doing. The problem is the agents have the opportunity, the occasion to get in and make relationships with younger players. Some feel compelled to do it. I know there are enough really good agents who are not doing that, but the ones who can't compete with the really good agents try to do it the other way. And so that's where all this, the FBI investigation began. If you read my pieces on when I have mentioned or written directly or mentioned parenthetically the FBI investigation, I have never once called it an FBI investigation of college basketball, because that is not what it is. It is an investigation of the way talent is processed, the way talent is pursued. I call it in every reference. I always call it the FBI or the Justice Department investigation of the basketball talent game, because that's where it began. It began with a money manager who showed the FBI, in order to ease his burden on another case, showed the FBI what was going on and helped introduce them to people who could pursue the investigation into and it eventually led them to some college basketball assistant coaches who were involved in this, and it eventually led them to the allegations that some athletes had been pursued with money at the college level. But that's not the core of this. The core of it is how agents and money managers who are on the wrong side of the rules, and in some cases on the wrong side of the law, will pursue young players and their families. And that's the core of this. And it's something that the NBA has a tough time getting a handle on, even though they certify agents. And if you do incorrect things, you risk losing your certification. They've had a tough time getting a handle on it. The NCAA will have even a tougher time, because they have fewer methods of punishment and less effective methods of punishment. But that's really where the core of the problem is. When it all happened, Mark Emmert tried to blame it on one and done, because it was a convenient target, and because people were already predisposed not to like it. But it wasn't even remotely accurate. I mean, there are dozens of players who have been involved in this circumstance, either tangentially or directly, who were rated well beyond full of them. The guy was playing at Southern Cal a year ago, who did not play the 2017-18 season as a result of this circumstance. He was rated like 125th in his high school class, and had only played 1 year of college, I believe. So it had nothing to do with one and done, but that's what Mark Emmert and Condoleezza Rice decided to blame, because it was a convenient target rather than pursue real solutions.
And taking it in a little different direction, with all this is going on, what does it say about the NCAA and LSU, which I'm not, maybe there's reasons they had to, but when they reinstate Will Wade, when I know they don't have these FBI wiretaps in hand, but it's pretty safe to assume that they have to know that they're real and that they exist. What does it say when this guy gets his job back?
Well, I think a couple things. First of all, if you read the transcript of that tape, there are three options. One, it was great fortune of his. Two, he was being at least a little circumspect. Or three, he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, those three options are still all technically viable, okay? Because if you look at the transcript, he never actually says money, so to speak. I mean, there's a lot, strong ass offer, and it was, the other guy, wanted a bigger piece of the pie, but never ever says money. I mean, it never really says what the offer is. So like I said, there are three options on what that is, but because he didn't, LSU was on less firm ground to fire him for cause. So LSU had two choices. One, they could fire him and claim it was for cause, and then face a likely court battle, because at that point, Will Wade wouldn't have much else to do but sue, because I mean the odds of him getting another job with that transcript out there, even if he didn't say money, aren't great. Or they could wait and see if something concrete was alleged against LSU basketball, or more specifically Will Wade, and then try to fire him for cause down the road. Otherwise, they're looking at paying him. I don't know exactly what he's owed, but I mean, it's got to be north of $5 million, probably north of $7 million. And so they decided they didn't want to have to pay that, or face the court battle. So that's why they did what they did. It's really not as simplistic as saying, well, he said he didn't do anything, so we're good. I think that's Greg Sankey. I wrote a column about that immediately after this went down, saying that I believed it was a calculated circumstance, that they didn't want to have to face a court battle, and they didn't want to have to write the check now. So they decided to sort of punt it down the road and put the heavy lifting on the NCAA. And I think Greg Sankey kind of confirmed that, the commissioner of the SEC, when he said essentially that, what's going on at LSU is not over right now. I think that was his response to, questions about why Will Wade still has his job. He still is entitled to the presumption of innocence under the, even under the NCAA, even though they don't have subpoena power and all that. And if you don't have anything concrete that says he did wrong, you still have to go through the process and find out whether anything was untoward.
And that segment proves why you need journalism. And Mike DeCourcy is one of the best journalists in the business. Mike, I cannot thank you enough. I can listen to you all day long, but I appreciate you, and it wouldn't be fair to you. But thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on.
And next time, let's just talk a little straight hoops. How about that? How about we just, that we can just maybe next time we'll have a better handle on who's coming back to college and all that, and we can just talk basketball. That'd be fun.
It would be a lot of fun, because there's a lot of kids that's going to make it very enjoyable. Mike, I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much again.
You too. Thank you.
You bet. Michael DeCourcy from the Sporting News. Make sure you find him at TSN Mike. Gosh, I could listen to him all day. Unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us for The Boys. I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on radio.